Hey guys, and welcome to another one of my Mashin Sentai KiraMager episode commentary and reviews. This time it's episode 10, The Girl Who Chases After Shiguru. Let's get into the episode. The episode opens with Mabashina balancing a daikon on her head as Shiguru centers himself before drawing his sword and extending the blade to slice the daikon in half, but vanish before harming Sayo, who laughs in relief as Shiguru explains to Mabashina he was copying Juru's ability of using Kira mentality and just pictured a sword long enough before receiving a call that his food has arrived, and he rushes down to his cheese dog only to find that Muryu has already eaten the middle of it. The others are distracted however by Juru watching a video about an idol who's hard to find, but she's quickly recognised by Shiguru, though he denies it before leaving as the others wish they could see her perform. Over in Jotunheim, Tarantula is mocking Garza over losing control of his smog steamer again, though quickly changes his tune when Garza gets angry. That night, Mamashina, Tabatomo, Sina and Juru are trying to find the idol video, as they get lucky when the video goes live for them. And as the song ends, the three rangers seem hypnotised, as Mabashina tries to wake them, and the idol throws tickets to her live performance out of the laptop screen and into the three rangers, but bouncing off of Mabashina. She tries to wake them before seeing the last ticket on the floor and recognising the symbol of Jotunheim on it. Later, with the three in bed, Sayo explains that the tickets have fused with their hearts and cannot be removed, before saying it was likely Mabashina's crystal skin that saved her. Muryu asks if the idol Yodomi is a maskman, but Shiguru quickly denies it, saying she might be a human under one's control, before we see Shiguru emptying a box of fan mail onto the table from a girl who looks just like Princess Yodomi. Sayo grabs a letter to use the address to find the girl, but Sayo won't go, begging Sayo to go without him, but she ends up dragging him along anyway, as Shina carries Jetto. They arrive at the apartments as Shiguru is spotted by his fan, as we flash back to some of the times she's tracked him down herself. Shiguru backs away from the girl as he asks if she'd been approached by a monster in a mask, which she readily says yes to, calling him Mr. Clefface, and we flash to them having tea together. As she admits she did it to be popular enough to be with Shiguru, but he explains her singing is hurting people, including three of his friends, and she needs to stop, but is shocked as she asks him to marry her then, before coming to the conclusion that he thinks she isn't good enough for him yet and just needs more views. Mabashina tells Sayo she can sense a Yodon, and sure enough the maskman is revealed on the girl's back, startling Shiguru as he joins Sayo in transforming. While Yodomi is excited that Shiguru has transformed, the maskman puts her on his back and flees, while the Bechats cover their escape, though they are quickly dispatched by Shiguru's new sword attack. Sayo confronts the maskman, but he uses Yodomi as a shield, while Bechats attack, causing Sayo to use a ricochet attack that's blocked by a Bechat, saving the maskman. As it flees again, Yodomi tells it to stop, as Shiguru tells her to get away from it. She asks if he will marry her then, but when he hesitates, she loses interest as the maskman attacks with a sonic attack, allowing them to escape. Back at HQ, Shiguru is with the machines, as he asks why, when he turned her down a year ago, but the machines say he didn't shoot her down at all, but just made her wait for him. At the event location, the maskman activates a sigil on a banner, causing people to wake from their comas and walk to the event. Sayo tries to stop the other rangers from leaving to go, but they disappear in a flash of light, as Mabashina, Muryu and Shiguru watch from the control room, as Shiguru takes the remaining ticket and says he will go. Muryu asks how he expects to defeat the maskman, and Shiguru simply replies, with a sword. At the event, Yodomi walks out, but stops when she realises nobody's there, as Sayo appears saying she'd already tracked them down and destroyed the curtain, restoring everyone to normal. Jetto swoops in, dropping off Shiguru, who says he will show Yodomi how he feels, with a sword, as he focuses his Kira mentality, extending the sword and attacking, taking out the maskman, but leaving a shocked Sayo unhurt. Shiguru says his half-eaten cheese dog inspired him to have a bit missing from the middle of his sword, as Garza watches from above, complimenting his control. As the maskman explodes, the entire stage becomes a masked beast. KiraMager arrives, and when Stage Shelga attacks with a screech, Helico counters before the beast goes underground, and the Rangers play whack-a-mole with Roland, before Smog Juki arrives, and Cena wastes no time calling on King Express, taking control, but is quickly repulsed by Garza's Kala mentality. The masked beast pins KiraMager as Garza attacks, but Sayo gets an idea, and as Garza attacks, the machines split apart, letting the beast take the attack, before they finish it off with a Kiramai dynamic attack. Garza leaves, calling it a day, and later as the Rangers walk off, Shiguru is confronted by Io once again, but as he goes to set her straight, she kicks him in the stomach for trying to cut her, before she rushes to Sayo asking her to go out with her, but Sayo quickly shuts her down as the episode ends. Okay, so it's an interesting start. Bit of a William Tell moment, only with a sword instead of a bow and arrow. But Shiguru is the first of the KiraMagers to adapt Juru's ability to change the crystals into other things. He even says, you know, he uses the Kira mentality as his inspiration. And, you know, he focuses on just extending his sword. Which, you know, he slashes, slices the daikon, and makes it disappear before it hits Sayo. I mean, he could have practiced with, you know, non-living things, but yeah, sure, let's practice on your teammate and a princess. I mean, the princess was safe. She was just balancing a daikon on her head. So he was already aiming, like, above her head, but the teammate part of it? Yeah. You know, he could have just had a concrete beam there, you know, done it in a car park or something. So, a bit of a risky test, but I suppose it works in the end. Despite that, though, Shiguru, he's a bit of an idiot, really, isn't he? I mean, he tries to be cool when he shuts down his stalker, but and I guess he wanted to be a bit gentle with her, because, you know, she was saying, like, you know, you're my reason for everything and all the rest of it. But going, oh, I need to put 100% into my acting right now. I have no room for anything else at the moment. Keywords, right now, at the moment. This is saying, I got to focus on this now, but later, maybe, yeah. You know, if you've got an obsessive mind, like a stalker, that's what you're going to be thinking. You're going, well, you're saying maybe not now, but you're telling me to wait. You say you're not ready for me now, but I can come for you later. Or you'll come for me later. I got to make myself good enough to support you so you can stop acting to make it all sooner. It's the twisted minds, like twisted way that some people's minds can work. And obviously, with his stalker. But the fact is, he doesn't even realize it is like the machines. They're bloody pieces of rock. I mean, crystals, yes, but they're basically rocks. Shiny rocks. And even they are all going, you're an idiot! You're just telling her to wait. Because, yeah, I mean, I even put in my notes, you know, he needs someone who can support him if he isn't acting. Which is how she seems to take it. So, yeah, I mean, I sort of go half of my notes, half off the top of my head when I'm doing these. We get another trip to a regular Sentai location with this episode. So, as Princess Yodomi, she obviously wants to perform. I mean, that alone, Yoda me. Most of it's Yoden. The KiraMagers, they don't even think, Princess Yodomi. That sounds a bit like Yodon. Is there a link there? Nope, completely clueless. I mean, I understand Juru. He's a student. Possibly Tamatomo, because he just plays computer games, mostly fighting games from what we can tell. You know, memorize a few button combos and that, and have good speed and reflexes and thumb dexterity. Sayo's a doctor. Shiguru's an actor. Cena's, I don't know, is Cena? I think Cena might be the youngest out of the others. Because, I mean, she's doing sports. Juru's still in school. The rest of them seem to be, like, full-blown adults. Cena's harder to tell, unless they're just that good that they've all advanced into, like, full-on careers, while they should still be at school. But either way, Juru's the youngest. So maybe he wouldn't realise, but the others should. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the stage area where Princess Yodomi is going to perform her live performance at the end in this episode looks a lot like the area that we saw in Gojuja during, I think it was episode 38, possibly, the fashion episode. And I'm sorry if that triggers painful memories for anyone, because obviously that was the first of and worst of the heavily edited episodes because of the whole Goju unicorn thing. And also, I believe, the inside of Tiger Sword from the Gojuju movie, when they're fighting to save him. But I'm also wondering, is that area... And I'm going to put, like, screenshots up, so how it looks now and what I think it was. Is this the same place? Because is it the same area as Ranger and Ranger used, but just modernised and updated? Because, you know, it's been 30 years since that one, so is it the same place but they've just updated it? You know, if anyone knows where this is or how to find it on Google Maps, please let me know, because I'd love to check it out on there and just, like, you know, have a good look at it. So please let me know in the comments if you do know. King Express is summoned again. And this time, Gaza actually uses his new Kala mentality. Not Kira, but Kala. So I'm guessing Calamity. From being used again. You know, obviously, like, he gets taken over, but then he just lets off, like, that wave of black energy, or his Kala mentality, and stops it before it can be used to attack. I will say this, though. The Ranger's defense against Smog Juki's, like, beam attack is pretty cool. Because they literally just go, whoop, whoop. It worked. You know, it worked. You know, just separate and then go back together again. And we even see them, like, if you watch it, like, in slow motion, or if you're just watching carefully, you do see them turn back to vehicles for a second before they turn back into KiraMager. So I did kind of like that. And, of course, at the end... I mean, obviously, we see Shiguru using his sword control, like, again, to turn it into his cheese dog. I mean, you don't mess with another man's cheese dog. Muryu, out of order for that. Sneaky, but completely out of order. But, to make his sword do that, so he doesn't slice into, I think it was EU, but it does slice into the Maskman. Oh, mwah, chef's kiss. Beautiful move. Absolutely brilliant. I love it. That was such a cool way of doing things. And, of course, at the end, you know, she, like, kicks Shiguru in the stomach. I mean, he deserves it for leading her on in the first place, intentional or not. But then the way Sayo just shuts her down in, like, one sentence, just like, no. Shuts her down and is like, yeah. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And now I'm going to shut down this video. But next time, it's episode 11. Time is looping. So, unless you want to be looping around looking for another video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And hit that bell for the notifications so you know when I put more vids up. I'll see you then.